All right, let's get right into it. Today we're talking about medicinal herbs, something a lot of us rely on for our health, right? But here's the thing. There are some pretty serious hidden dangers that have nothing to do with the price. So we're going to dig into what those dangers actually are, and then look at a really cool new piece of tech that's trying to bring, get this, cryptographic proof of purity to the things we're putting in our body. So, think about this for a second. When you grab a supplement off the shelf, what are you really swallowing? It sounds like a simple question, but the answer, well, it's way more complicated than you'd think. We see a label that says organic or pure, and we just trust it. We assume it's safe. But how do we know? For real? That's the big question we're tackling today. And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of it. Most people think the biggest risk in medicinal herbs is the price. They're wrong. It's not about how much it costs. Nope. It's about the faith we put in a system that's frankly got some major blind spots. The real danger is something else entirely. Okay, so what is this big risk? It all comes down to a concept called information asymmetry. Now, I know that sounds a little academic, but stick with me, because it's an idea that quietly affects us all the time, especially when we're trying to do something good for our health. So, let's break that down. Information asymmetry basically means the seller knows a whole lot more than you do. They've got all the inside info, where the herb actually came from, how it was handled, what else might be mixed in, the important stuff. And what do you have? You have the label, which, let's be honest, can sometimes be nothing more than a fancy sticker. There's no real way for you to check their claims, especially when you're talking about herbs imported from halfway around the world. And this huge gap in knowledge creates what we can call a black box. Think about it. We take a supplement, hoping it'll help us, but we have zero real visibility into its journey. We don't know what happened between the farm and the bottle. And the scary part is, what you don't know, well, it can definitely hurt you. This whole black box thing really breaks down into three major problems. First up, the origin gap. Where was this stuff really grown? Was it in some pristine, controlled environment, or was it next to a polluted factory? You just don't know. Then you've got the toxicity gap. What did the plant soak up from the ground? And this one's a biggie. And finally, there's the adulteration risk. Is it even the right plant? That pure herb might be mixed with something that just looks similar, but could actually be toxic. And this gets even crazier. A lot of these medicinal plants are what scientists call hyperaccumulators. That's a fancy way of saying they are absolute sponges for toxins. They literally suck up nasty stuff like lead and heavy metals right out of polluted soil. So a plant that's supposed to be good for you could actually be delivering a dose of poison, which is a massive problem for a lot of the herbs we import. And here's where it all comes together, right? Look at this. The label says organic blue skullcap. And you think, great, this is healthy. But the reality? It could be loaded with heavy metals. The bottle says pure herbal remedy, but inside, it might be a lookalike plant that's actually toxic to your liver. That premium quality promise? It could just be an expensive sticker. This is the black box, right here in front of us. Okay, so this all sounds pretty bad, I know. It's a lot of uncertainty. But what's the solution? Well, this is where things get really interesting. Technology is stepping in with an answer. It's a system called kheAI, and its entire goal is to swap out that blind trust we've been talking about with cold, hard, verifiable truth. So here's the big idea in a nutshell. Instead of gambling on risky, unverified imports, kheAI is all about using locally grown alternatives. And here's the kicker. Every single batch is backed by what's called cryptographic proof. It's like an unbreakable digital seal of purity. So how on earth does that work, right? Well, it's not just one thing. It's actually a triple tech stack. 3 different layers of technology all working in concert. The goal is to create what they call truth at the edge, which means proving purity right from the moment the plant starts to grow. Okay, so here are the 3 steps. It's actually pretty straightforward. First, you've got biology. Then comes the data, and finally, you wrap it all up with intelligence. Let's dive into each one. Step 1, biology. This is the foundation for everything. Instead of growing in potentially polluted dirt, these herbs are grown in a totally controlled, soilless aquaponics system. And that's huge because it completely takes the biggest risk, contaminated soil, right off the table from day one. No soil means no heavy metals. Simple as that. You solve the problem before it even starts. All right, step 2, data. As the plants grow, All the sensor data, we're talking water pH, temperature, nutrients, you name it, gets logged using something called the Nostr protocol. Now, the easiest way to think about this is like posting a message to a public timeline that can never, ever be edited or deleted. It creates a permanent, unchangeable audit trail. Once a piece of data is on there, it's there for good. So what does that really mean for you? It means you have a data trail that can't be, let's say, creatively edited by a marketing department. Nobody can go back and tweak the numbers to hide something or make a batch look better than it was. It's just the raw, unfiltered truth locked in forever. Okay, but having a giant stream of raw sensor data isn't exactly user-friendly, right? I mean, who's going to read all that? And that's where the final piece of the puzzle comes in. Step 3, intelligence. An AI agent steps in, takes all that super trustworthy but messy data, and turns it into a clean, simple, and searchable purity ledger. And this is where it all pays off for you, the person who just wants to know if their supplement is safe. This is where we go from all this complex tech, from sensor to a simple answer. The real magic here is that you don't need to understand any of the tech I just talked about. You can literally just ask a simple question in plain English. Something like, hey, is this batch of blue skullcap I'm holding verified to be lead-free? And what you get back is a straight-up answer, a simple yes or no. But it's not just a claim on a label. It's an answer that's backed by that whole immutable, tamper-proof data trail we talked about. It's a verified, lead-free promise with the cryptographic receipts to prove it. You see what's happening here? This is a huge shift. We're moving away from just blindly trusting a label and hoping for the best to a world where we can actually verify the truth for ourselves. It completely flips the script on who holds the power. And that really brings us to the final big idea here. Yeah, this is being used for medicinal herbs right now, but the potential is so much bigger than that. So let me leave you with this question. If we can have this kind of cryptographic proof for our herbs, what else should we stop trusting blindly? What other parts of our lives are a black box where we should start demanding to see the proof? It's a pretty powerful thought, isn't it?